This is black paper and I'm going to be doing something that's going to absolutely terrify me today. But it's going to be a little bit different, and it's going to be using my paint markers on black paper. Now this is Canson's black paper heavyweight, solid black paper for use with light colored drawing and writing media or mounting and collage. It is 140 GSM, and yeah, I'm hoping that this is going to be okay for markers. I haven't tested it. Like everything, I just go in and hope for the best. Let's see if this is going to work. This paper is quite thin. Today's video is just going to be my my acrylic paint markers and putting them onto here and doing a design that's going to work, and hopefully it's gonna work. I don't know. This is kind of terrifying, so let's see how I go. So I felt like doing like a warrior type woman, just to sort of keep it a little bit simple as well, and to sort of have I don't know, like just this, because it's going to be quite flat, like it's going to be a flat color. And yeah, I've done a little bit of research on how to do this, but usually and I've done some tests as well in my sketchbooks, but usually when I go to do the final piece on here, that's when all shit, you know, breaks loose. But let's see how we go with something just totally different to what I would usually do, and stepping out of my comfort zone, which I've got to try to do more of. And yeah, doing some paint pen illustrations. And at least I know what it looks like on black paper. Now this is thicker. What I should probably do first is make sure that this stuff's gonna hold up, probably. Like this didn't pill at all, but this only comes in an A5. I also wanted to do something a little bit bigger, so it's a little bit more, you know. All right, we'll do the yellow first, so we'll just see. That's not too bad. That's held up quite all right. I might just wait for that to dry a little bit and then layer over the top to make sure that I can layer, because like as much as these are opaque, they're not opaque fully, like straight off the bat. Okay, yeah, I think this is gonna work nicely. Now this is good, this is very good. It's not pilling, it's roughing up the paper a little bit, but it's not picking it up and throwing it around like a dodgeball, basically. I'm pretty happy with that, and I think that I'm going to proceed now with the sketch. I was absolutely terrified when I went into this, because I don't feel as though that I was going to make this any decent at all. I really felt as though it was going to be a complete failure from the beginning, but I persevered with it and pushed through it, even though I had moments where I just nearly gave up. I really did, but I didn't. I wanted to see this one through, and I ended up doing so. But I really struggled with her anatomy, and how I sort of conquered struggling with the anatomy is I bought myself a doll that you can mold into whatever you want, whatever position you want. And I found that extremely helpful, because there was just like, I tried my best to sort of do this without too much of a reference, But then I really realized that I needed a reference when it comes to anatomy still. This is the doll that I purchased. I got this for about, I think it was about $15. And yeah, it's been a complete lifesaver when it comes to anatomy and drawing different poses, because like sometimes you can't find references to the poses that you have in your head, and I've always got poses in my head that are just so different to what you see out there. So to buy this doll was like the best $15 I've ever spent. So this is what I use now for all my poses and all that. It's probably not the best for like on point anatomy, like what a real human looks like, but I don't really draw like proper looking humans or anything. Mine are always a bit distorted because they are not fully human. So this, like I said, best thing I ever bought. So I went in with a lot of this just sort of being in my head. I knew I wanted a warrior woman. I just started drawing, and then it just sort of came up. I just came up with this, and I wanted it to be as simple as possible, because like when it comes to paint pens, I feel as though you could probably, like if you were like a really awesome artist and you were used to this medium, you could probably draw something really super detailed with these. But I feel as though to do something really super detailed with these paint pens, you would have to go absolutely like a huge illustration, because I don't know, it's just doing something small with these would just wouldn't work as far as I'm concerned. This skin color here, I had to go over that about 4 times, making sure that each layer was dried before I went over it again. It was the worst color for opaqueness. It was not very opaque. But yeah, I think I might even have gone over this skin more than 4 times. But this was the only one I did that with. Her hair, this light purple that you see me applying now, I ended up having to do 2 to 3 layers of that one, and then the rest were pretty okay. The red on the cape sort of got a little bit, I don't know, it had a moment. It really did have a moment when I first used it. You'll see it looks really, really transparent. It looks like the paper's really absorbing it. I don't know what happened. I shook the shit out of this pen, and it ended up at the first stages doing what it does when you see me go across to the cape, and then all of a sudden it becomes opaque. Like it's like, oh, I've woken up. Oh, I've got a job to do. So I don't know what it was doing, but yeah, it had a moment. But the gold was really good. I only had to do 1 layer of the gold, and the darker purples, I think I did 2 layers of them. I ended up doing her shirt, her little crop top, and her underwear. I did them black. I was just feeling like black. Just, yeah, even it's a different black to the paper, so I just ran with that. And I also added the silver paint pen, and in a bit of the brown for the big stick that her weapon that she's got. The thing I really disliked about this piece was her leg position. There was something about her legs, her upper thighs, that just never looked right, never looked good. And I tried my best to fix it a number of times, but I ended up just going with what you see. And in the end, I am quite happy that when I put her weapon in place, it kind of hides, it hides a lot of that area, which is really good. So that's probably the part that I was the least happy with. And also the cape, the way the cape ruffles sort of doesn't make a lot of sense, but yeah, it was all trial and error. And like I said, I did a lot of this without reference, and I probably shouldn't do that, but I try every now and again to, you know, put down like references and ideas from the internet and just sort of run with my own. But sometimes it doesn't work, and yeah, some things just still I need a reference for until I feel a bit more comfortable applying my own brain ideas to paper. Now I applied a little bit of shading to her skin areas, and I sort of left a lot of the rest unshaded because it was a little bit hard, and I didn't have a lot of colors to sort of shade with. Like the cape, I sort of used the wine red color to do the shading of the bottom of the cape, but in some of the darker areas that I feel would have been dark. But yeah, it was a little bit hard to do that, so I just wanted to leave it a lot of flatness to this piece, but I still wanted to give it a little bit of dimension towards the end. So when I do the hair, I go in with a liner and I start applying a lot of the shadowing and sort of giving her a real comic book feel. And this is about the time that I felt as though this piece was coming together, because for the longest time, basically right from the point where I started coloring her in with the paint pens, I don't know, I wasn't happy, I wasn't feeling it. I had a lot of worry right from the beginning with this. And then I added the white gel pen, and I feel as though this really did help me complete this piece. And sort of, it really does have a comic book feel, this piece. And I sort of didn't really mean to head in that direction. It just sort of happens like that. And yeah, I felt as though the white gel pen really needed to be heavily applied in this piece, so that's why there is so much white gel pen here. Is a lot of sparkle. I added some sparkle parts on some of the gems on her boots and the one on her shoulder, and yeah, that's it basically. I hope you enjoyed this piece. This is my first big illustration with paint pens, and I really enjoyed it, so hopefully you guys did too, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.